Hello everybody, here we are with the January Coliseum Finals. Our competitors today are going to be Greenoh, Victor Bansamir, the Copycat, Silas, and Agent Shadow. And as you can see in the other corner, we have Jeffrey. Say hi, Jeffrey.
Hey guys.
There he is. So hopefully we should have some high-level commentary for you today, since we have the Jeff Cat. And yeah, first map we're going to be in Mesa. The format is going to be my slightly odd format where we do a round robin and then we go into a single elimination or double elimination bracket with a single bye for each position placed in the round robin. So, without any further ado, let's get underway. Greenoh versus Victor, game 1.
Okay, so we got Greenoh versus Victor Bansamer, and we've got a Nod versus GDI matchup. We got Liang from Victor, which I have to expect is probably going to be Orca Bomber. Greenoh, though, I don't really know the decks that he typically runs, so we're just going to have to take a look and see what he's decided to bring.
Yeah, Liang is not banned in this tournament, but Shade and Razorback both are, so we're not going to be seeing those. So I agree with you that we're likely to see a lot of Orca Bomber today, a lot of Liang being the best commander in the game. And probably, we should probably see a little bit more Nod than we're used to, given that the Shade and Razorback are gone. Really, with those units out, the only things anyone ever does is Shade and Razorback. So yeah, we should see a little bit more interesting decks, a little bit more variety. And we do, in fact, see those Orca Bombers. In fact, Victor's deck is the Agent Shadow sniper deck. And Greenoh has a traditional Fnatic aggro with Phantom. I think Phantom's a good choice against Victor. He's well known for playing those bombers.
No problem.
So yeah.
So far from the beginning, we're seeing that Victor's pulling out the missile a little bit earlier, so Greenoh's going to have to build something else, but he's building a Scorpion tank to respond to that. That means these missiles are going to continue to get a little bit more value than they should. I think Greenoh would have switched into Fanatics here, which would have been a better choice, but either way, he is going to be doing an okay job. Those missiles going down to that bottom pad means that Victor should comfortably take this missile, and... yeah, there it is. Victor takes the first missile, which isn't in the end of the game, of course. So Charlie, of course, could make a comeback, but let's have a look and see.
Yeah, definitely not great for Nod to lose that first missile. Nod generally is stronger in the early game and then falls off a little bit when the GDI gets all of its buildings. So Nod really doesn't want to lose that first missile. This is a symptom of the bike nerf. It used to be that you could use bike pitbulls in the early game and then tech switch into your Fanatics. But bikes don't force missiles from GDI anymore because now pitbulls can beat them. So now you're forced to tech switch as the Nod player from the bikes. I think though in the current metagame you're supposed to go into lasers because that forces your opponent into infantry, which is where you want to be. Whereas going for the tank spends too much money early game and allows your opponent to respond with their own missiles, which is what we saw in that first one.
So let's see what's going to happen. We got a bit of a pop cap situation for Charlie Green here. He's going to move that single wheel down, but the wheel will take care of it. The Scorpion tank is going to go down. Fanatics move over, but they won't be able to deal with the snipers and missiles in time. However, Liang drone on that top pad gets taken down by the boosted bikes. Orca Bomber coming out. Will it be enough to clear and hold the pad? I think it should. Victor's going to have a pretty secure foothold on this middle pad, and oh wait, but he gets around with a single bike, almost flips it, but doesn't matter. Orca Bomber gets onto that top pad and then gives the missile to Victor, giving him his first victory of the day.
Yeah, and there we see the classic Liang pad steal, which is an absolute nightmare to deal with, followed by the Orca Bomber sweeping the middle, which is also a nightmare to deal with. And you can see the Orca Bomber just creates so much area denial that Greenoh is not able to get back onto that middle pad before the missile fires.
All right, game number 2, we've got the Copycat TV facing off against Silas, and we're gonna have our first GDI mirror of the day, but also Silas picking Strong Arm, and not a very common choice, but not a bad choice on open water. I don't think it is going to be very effective just because of the fact of where you can place the turret's not going to be all that effective. So I don't know where he's going to get the value out of it, but let's have a look at the decks. All right, so we got Mammoth Tank versus GDI, Sazakto APC. Okay, I think Mammoth Tank wins this, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this should be a very easy win for Copycat. Mammoth Tank makes a lot of sense. I'm seeing that Jackson. Jackson often pairs with those super units. Sort of either it used to be Orca Bomber, but they nerfed that interaction, so now it's really a Mammoth Tank or Zone Trooper type deck is more likely to play Jackson. And as you say, Strong Arm, very odd choice from Silas. I think Strong Arm's really quite weak on this map. This feels like he just is used to playing Strong Arm with this deck and hasn't really considered the map because, as you say, Strong Arm Strong very weak on this map. I think a Liang would have been significantly stronger, or even a Jackson. Yeah, this is one of the worst strong arm maps. But as you say, the matchup will heavily favor Copycat here. The Mammoth Tank is something that Silas's deck is simply incapable of dealing with.
Well, speaking of that, so he's built these drone swarms to try and hold pads, but of course, Silas being on all 3 pads means he's going to charge the missile pretty efficiently. So we'll see if Copycat can get more stalling going on. Actually, he's going to be able to pull it off here for just a bit longer. He needs to get to about the minute 20 mark if he's going to have Mammoth Tank come out in a reasonable amount of time. But here we are. Silas has got both pads, all 3 pads secured with those pitbulls, and he's going to take the first missile, which, again, not unexpected. The fact is that Copycat's playing double harv, so he's down to pop cap, which means that securing pads is a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, we could even have seen Solomon from Silas here. Not a traditional combo with the APC deck, but it does give you outs to Mammoth Tank because you can simply kill their base. If Silas can get enough money together, one of the ways to beat Mammoth Tank with this deck is if you can afford to simply make 3 Orcas when the Mammoth Tank comes out, you can just suicide 3 Orcas into a Mammoth and kill it. And if you take out the first Mammoth, you'll normally win the game. So as you can see, Copycat's about to get that Mammoth out. I don't know. I think Silas does have the money to just throw Orcas at it. Oh, wow. Copycat's gone for a Hammerhead here. I think this is a pretty big misplay.
I think you're right. Pulling
yeah,
the Hammerhead early is going to
really
cost him big time. So he might be able to secure this missile, though. He's got the Mohawk on that far left. Turret comes down. He's not going to do anything. So he does get the missile, which is great. But I think, like you said, he should have really saved up for that Mammoth Tank first. I mean, there it is, finally.
It's hard to argue with results. Copycat gets that missile, and now the Mammoth Tank comes out, and he's almost locked to win this game. But I really think Silas misplayed there to let him have that missile. His units would... He made 2 APCs that were way too slow, way too late in the game. He didn't have enough time to get them on the pads. And now Copycat has the whole 3rd missile to play with Mammoth Tanks.
That's exactly it. So we're seeing this Mammoth Tank come out. It's doing a lot of work, clearing just about all the ground units. Both those APCs that came out have been completely wrecked by this Mammoth Tank. And currently, Silas is trying to fight it with Orcas, not having too much of an effect on that. But Mammoth Tank is very low, so he's about to lose it. However, look at the money that Copycat's got. He's got 230 Tiberium. As soon as that Mammoth Tank goes down, he's going to rebuild it. And he's got 2 Hammerheads out to make sure that he's going to control those Orcas. And this is going to be a pretty easy missile for him. As we see, it's about to go off. Mammoth Tank coming out again, but doesn't matter. There it is. Copycat takes the 3rd missile and wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, you can see there that Silas had the money to throw Orcas at the Mammoth. If the Mammoth had been forced to push forward to hold pads, it would have died to the Orcas, and then he could have won the game if that had been the 2nd missile. But because Copycat was able to steal that 2nd missile, yeah, he was able to be in a position where he could just continuously make Mammoth Tanks.
Establishing battlefield control.
Okay, game number 3. We got Silas versus Victor, and we're going to see our first Liang mirror. Not going to be the last one, though, that's for sure. I think Victor's probably playing Orca Bombers, so the question is, what does Silas bring? Or did Victor anticipate the counter, and he's brought something else? Let's have a look.
I think you're probably right. Probably very like to see Orca Bomber from Victor. Victor loves bomber decks, and I don't think there is a great counter to Orca Bomber. Like, I don't think there's a great way to counter an Orca Bomber deck. So
yeah,
Silas has brought the sling.
Right?
Well, Silas has brought the sling. Even sling doesn't do that. I mean, the best answer to an Orca Bomber is probably a Phantom or a Hammerhead, and even then, most Orca Bomber decks will play a strong anti-air unit to support their Orca Bomber. So yeah, most Orca Bomber decks don't really have a critical air weakness like that.
So this is interesting. We got Silas playing, basically it's the GDI deck, but instead of the APC deck, but without APC, it's Slingshot. I mean, can Pitbull and Slingshot really make it all the way? They can park themselves and cover most of the pads, but I don't know. I think Slingshot generally loses to Orca Bomber, although it's not quite that clear cut. But I mean, Victor's a great player, so.
The issue is that you need to have 2 Slingshots to stop Orca Bombers from cleaning them up, and then that relies on your opponent spamming the Orca Bombers. If your opponent has a coherent game plan that doesn't involve using the Orca Bombers, and you've committed 2 units to anti-air, they just won't make air units. That's the real issue. So what this is going to come down to is, can Victor use these snipers well enough?
So really nice block on that left pad with the Pitbull, but the Harvester got pulled by Victor, so he's going to secure the pad with these dogs, finally getting on the pad. Lingdor's going to come to make sure that he's got that left pad, because the Pitbull will clear the War Dogs in time. And there we go. Victor, being a mastermind of control, manages to steal that first missile from Silas.
Yeah, really nice harvester pull there from Victor, identifying that he needed to be on that pad, just didn't have the extra unit to do it. And it ends up paying off because he does take that missile, which it looks like he was going to lose it, and he managed to pull it back with that harvester pull. So really nice play from Victor there.
It was very nice. Yeah, the thing about Liang, it's just the reason why it's so busted is it can do exactly that, and it really was needed because the dog was not going to hold long enough.
Yeah, once again, Liang doing Liang things.
Yeah, exactly. So right now we're seeing Victor's trying to push Silas back just a little bit. This Orca's doing a pretty good job, but it's going to lose its missile there, meaning that it's going to have to take a little bit longer to reload. So these missiles are going to get a little bit more value than Silas would like. They are going to be able to deal with these drone storms having defenders advantage. Use the Liang drone to try and heal them up. Liang drone doesn't really do an effective job with infantry, so it's not going to make too much of a material difference. But the fact here is that it's pushing these pit bulls back, forcing Silas into anti-infantry options, which are going to be these riflemen. Now these snipers are going to be a really effective tool for Victor to clear the pads. So the question is Victor going to get to his Orca bomber? Because we haven't seen it come out yet.
Yeah, a little surprised to see Victor not making that Orca bomber yet. I assume he didn't have the money. Well, with the harvester pull, he couldn't afford it in the first missile, and now he's just waiting for the missile to be about to fire. Yeah, here it comes. Orca bomber and hammerhead immediately.
Yeah, this is a very, very good play. He had the money to build both of these, so he's going to try and clear the pads, but can he do it? He's trying to get the Liang drone in front of the Orca, but doesn't quite get there. Doesn't matter with that Orca bomber to clear that left pad, and there it is. Victor takes the second missile, winning his second game in a row. That was really good for him.
Yeah, and that slingshot is just way too late. Way too late, and I think trying to move it onto the pad might have been a misplay. I think maybe he should have been trying to kill the units on the pads instead, but no big deal. Pretty rough matchup there for Silas. Didn't go his way.
All right, for our fourth match of this Coliseum, we've got Copycat TV facing off against Victor Bansimer, and this is a big change from both of these players. We're seeing Strongarm and Solomon. So Solomon, I'm not sure what exactly that means. Is Victor going to play that really cheap deck that only uses up to 40 cost units with Solomon? Or has he decided to choose something different? On Open Prairie, that's an interesting choice. And then Copycat, I think turret here is going to make a lot of sense. Looks like he's going to be playing a triple air GDI deck using the turret to support ground. So that's pretty curious. I think the turret can be placed on the left or the right side of that middle pad. So that's going to be pretty effective as a blocking tool. But yeah, Victor's playing this really cheap GDI deck, whereas again, it's his most expensive unit is only 40 costs. So he's going to try and basically go off a single harvester to get that tempo play done. But he's not building a harvester right away. That's interesting. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, I think that turret is definitely a reasonable choice in this map. As you say, it can go on the other side of the middle pad. I think Victor is maybe expecting tech from Copycat here, and that's why he's playing both Solomon and also why he's so aggressively gone for the pads. Also, I mean, if you win the first missile with Solomon, you can then cheese the base. So maybe he's just being super aggressive with the no halve to try and guarantee the first missile quickly. And then he's going to... that flip.
What a flip. I just have to point out here, the Copycat was doing some amazing pad control. You see he threw his talon over that far right instead of holding it on that middle pad. So he really did a good job there. But then, of course, Victor throwing those dogs over the far left to make sure he held the pads once again, and then got the flip with that pit bull. That was very, very well done.
Yeah, really nice play from both players. Obviously slightly better from Victor with that sick flip. But yeah, as you see, he now just goes double harvester, and I think this means he's definitely going to go for that base cheese strategy. He's just going to save up enough money for 2 iron cannons, and he's going to throw jump jets at that base. And Copycat is really under the gun now. He has to keep the game short by firing missiles, but also pressure the economy if possible. It's definitely not a good position for Copycat to be in.
This is looking pretty tough. So that Mohawk's going over to the far right. It's got a sliver of health. It is going to be able to get a few shots off. Those missiles should be able to stop it from getting any more damage off, as it will take one more shot to clear it out of the way. So that's exactly what we're going to see. Although Copycat's just going to use it to focus on the base, but that doesn't really matter. That turret placing it on that top there, a little bit unusual. He's going to try and stop an ion cannon from taking place, but drone storms have 3 tile vision, so that was very easy for Victor to get in there and get it, and that's exactly what we saw. So like you said, Copycat does need to be charging this missile. He is doing a pretty good job of that. Drone storm's going to move over to the middle pad. Harvester's going to be onto that far right, but it won't be enough. That 1 HP missile squad holding it, being the MVP, but this is it. I think, like you said, Victor's now going to make a push for the base rush.
Yeah, Victor needs to just get 1 iron cannon plus a little bit of chip damage on this base. Copycat is actually doing something I was going to say I think he should, which is try and base race, because it actually takes quite a long time to get the chip damage over there. You're never going to fire the missile. There's no way the missile fires in time, so his best out option might just be to try and base race. It doesn't look like he's going to get there, though. These jump jets should finish it off. He doesn't have the anti-infantry power.
Oh, that was a close game.
If he had Razorbacks, obviously they're banned, but if he had Razorbacks, he could potentially have held off those jump jets long enough. But without Razorback, he would have needed a drone swarm, I think. That's the only thing that has enough DPS to keep those jump jets off of the base long enough.
All right, match number 5. We've got Silas versus Greenoh, and another change. Once again, this is great. Love to see the deck diversity. So we're seeing Jade versus Seth for the first time. And yeah, Silas does play a lot of Jade, so maybe not all that unexpected. And considering the map, not a terrible choice. And then Greenoh using Seth, so are we going to see Nod aggro for the first time in 10 years? We're going to find out.
Yeah, we are on Orbit, which I think is one of the most aggro-favored maps in the game. So not surprised to see two players both picking Nod here. I think Nod is generally superior on this map. And we do see two fairly aggressive decks. We see Jade Laser Drones versus Fnatic aggro with a Banshee and a Seth. I like Seth a lot on this map. I think Seth is way better than Oksana for this map. The free pads are so split up, it's very easy to get a drill pod to steal one at some point.
Yep, I agree.
But it's going to be rough for Greenoh because laser drones are just extremely good versus Nod. It's always a really tough matchup when you're up against laser drones with Nod.
Well, especially the deck that Greenoh has. He does have Banshee to deal with the laser drones, but that's an expensive tech switch. That's 100 Tiberium for him to get into that. Whereas these laser drones are going to be cheap and efficient for Silas, and it's going to be an important tool for him to get to early because of that Phantom. This looks like it's going to be Silas's matchup, but really does come down to this first missile. That's going to be a very important change for this match indeed.
Yeah, also the deck is no longer capable of the cheese kill where you throw missiles at the base without a Chem Warrior. So even if Silas does take the first missile, it's not a guaranteed win like it used to be.
Right.
Chems are one of the hardest units for the Fnatic aggro deck to beat. So yeah, definitely looks like Silas has the edge in matchup. But a lot of changes have happened with this matchup, and due to the Shade and Razorback being allowed in ladder games and so on, we haven't really seen this matchup develop well enough. I don't really know exactly how it plays out anymore after the changes. So yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how it goes.
Let's see who's gonna take this first missile. So that Setropod comes down the far right. The Chem Warriors do get there. They should stop the Flame troops from getting there, but will they last long enough and hold the missile? Let's have a look. Laser is gonna move over to the far right, stalling the missile just a little bit longer. Chem Warriors should win, but we're gonna see missile flip, and oh, wait a minute, there we are. Charlie taking that first missile. Really great for him and very close, but you know what? Like you said, the first missile is not critical, and those Chem Warriors are gonna be a very big problem for Greenoh throughout this match.
Yeah, we actually saw Silas miss micro very slightly there. He moved his laser drones off of the bottom right pad. He would have won that missile if he'd had them on there, because he did take out the missile trooper was on such low hit points. The laser drones actually killed it, and the chems killed the flames. So he took both bottom pads, but he accidentally microed off of one right just in time for Greenoh to take the missile.
Oh, wow.
And we see Silas going for a base hit here, looks like. I'm not a huge fan of this play. I think this is a lot of Tiberium to invest in dealing less than half damage to the base. Like, this commits you to winning missile. I mean, you're already committed to winning missile 2, but it uses a lot of your resources. And then also, you know, if you don't win missile 2, you're dead, and you've just spent a lot of resources dealing that base damage. So I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, I agree. He sent those Chem Warriors down to the bottom left, and you really need to send them up there. So Setropod coming down is going to hold that left pad, and it looks like Charlie's got this. I think he's going to have this pretty comfortably. And yeah, almost didn't. That Phantom taking out those drones is very, very good. And, the Banshee. And now he's going to get the bikes down and deal with that Phantom. He's going to clear it with one volley. And now it looks like he's got this. Can he take the missile? And he steals it. Oh, Silas, yeah, that base rush just did not work out at all. I can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to get it low enough so that he won a missile and then just could go and get some chip damage and win the game. But no, he was not able to control the pads as a result. All right, for our next match, we're going to have Greenoh facing off against Copycat. Copycat switching over to Liang. That's a good choice. And then Greenoh sticking with Nod. Let's see what he's decided to bring. He brought, was it Seth last time? So this is a change for him, I believe.
Yeah, we're on, I've already forgotten what map we're on. We're on Lone Spire, right? Lone Spire.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I think Oksana's a better choice on Lone Spire. This map, often the combat happens in fairly close together. It's all around this sort of central 3 tiles, which touch all the pads. So yeah, I think Oksana's a good choice on this one. And we see a Copycat playing the Agent Shadow Sniper Borka deck as well. Very popular deck in this event.
Yeah, I think Copycat's got the better deck. I think Greenoh not having access to Phantom is going to hurt him a lot. Banshee's just not a quick enough option to deal with Orca Bomber. So depending on how Copycat plays, like I don't know how practiced he is with the Orca Bomber. So if he times it well enough, then for sure I think he wins this matchup. But you know what? If he's not going to get enough value out of his Orca Bombers, then he's probably not going to win this. So we'll have a look and see.
Yeah, Greenoh really needs to win the early game here to force an Orca Bomber to be a responsive unit rather than an aggressive unit. If Copycat's forced to, like, if Greenoh can win the first missile, which looks like he's going to do quite comfortably. Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
now
he did.
Now he's in a position where he can, if he can pressure Copycat into a Borka and then immediately respond to it, he can potentially just take the game.
That's a really smart point you bring up, Blade. The fact that you could just force them into to making it a response as opposed to part of their game plan. So I think you're right. I think that would be a very wise way for Greenoh to play this match. And so far, we're not really seeing that happen. Although this isn't a bad opportunity to bring out Orca Bomber, but of course the timing is pretty bad. And if you look at Copycat's money, he's actually pretty short on cash. He's moving his Harvester here, which is a little unusual. I'm not sure what the point of that is. But now he's actually not going to get enough money. Look how much time he's lost harvesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Copycat's moving this Harvester around. I feel like, is this Miss Micro or what's he doing here? Why is it moving?
I have no idea. It could be his touchscreen acting up, but he really does need to win the second missile. So we're getting pretty close to it. These Fanatics have been doing a really good job being an efficient option against these missiles and snipers. Snipers are pretty good against Fanatics, but in this case, because of the fact that Greenoh's been able to push against him, he's not been able to get a lot of value out of the snipers like he would. So these War Dogs are going to try and come down. He's got a bit of a pop cap situation going on here with Greenoh having two Fanatics with single squad members. And now, with all three pads secured, Copycat takes the second missile.
Yeah, really nice play from Copycat there. Yeah, I mean, he was able to use that Liang drone to hold long enough on that far left pad, and that ended up winning in the missile.
And here we are again. So this Harvester is going to go down finally. Copycat tried his darndest to make sure that he didn't lose it, but it was too low. There's just no way he was going to be able to protect it. So he rebuilds a Harvester. He's going to move these missile squads over. And really the big problem here is Copycat just does not have enough money. He really needs to make sure he's got enough money to build that Orca Bomber close to the first missile. But he decides to build one now with only a tank on the field. I got to say, I think Copycat just hasn't played this deck a lot.
Yeah, and this gives Greenoh the opportunity to immediately respond with double Banshee if he wants to. We're actually seeing Greenoh with a lot of money. I don't know why he's taking so long to build more units. Like, he's constantly got unit available to build, and he just isn't getting on the field quickly enough.
You're exactly right. Like, look at that, almost 300 Tiberium. But here we are. We're coming down to the third and final missile. This Orca Bomber is going to try and clear these Fanatics, but a Banshee boosted will hold against it very comfortably. And, well, that gives Greenoh the third missile and the game.
And yep, Greenoh was able to simply use his economic advantage to spam units out. And that was game over.
Okay, up next, we're going to have Greenoh facing off against SR PSS. We got SR PSS picking Nod, with Greenoh going into Liang, switching off from Nod. So that's going to be a nice change. We'll have to take a look at the decks, though. Yeah,
SR PSS, I think we'll probably be playing Chuggy Marauder, knowing him. I feel like that's one of his favorite decks. And he's playing on Sana, so that would make sense. Greenoh bringing... I think this is the first time we've seen Greenoh bringing a Liang deck. Oh, it's Alicia Inferno. Okay, interesting.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, it is the... yeah, this is really the Alicia Inferno deck with no missiles or lasers in it, so that's kind of interesting. But Oxana, of course, makes a lot of sense. And then we got Greenoh playing a ground GDI deck with Sandstorm Splash. I think this is going to be pretty hard to beat Inferno with. I think, like, Sandstorm, once it gets out, will probably be able to beat Inferno, but it all comes down to positioning, I think.
Yeah, well... The thing is, Greenoh's deck actually wins this matchup with just Predator tanks in the early game, because SRPSS doesn't have lasers or any kind of anti-vehicle infantry. So he has to use Infernos, really, to fight off Predators, which means that Greenoh should be able to gain an advantage early game by using Predators, and then transition that early game advantage into an economic lead, which allows him to get Sandstorms. And Sandstorms are actually really difficult for SRPSS to deal with.
Yeah, I think once the Sandstorms start rolling out, then that should pretty much shut things down. But that's a really good point you make about tanks, because you're 100% right. Without lasers in his deck, these Predator tanks are going to be very, very good, because SRPSS is going to have to rely on spamming these bikes to get there. So that's kind of what we're seeing so far. We got a Pitbull from Greenoh coming out to that far middle pad. Inferno coming out for the first time, though. Again, SRPSS being in a bomber master, but I don't think he's going to make it in time. And no, he doesn't. Very close, though. The Inferno's just a little bit too slow with that full shot loaded.
Yeah, and I mean, you see exactly what I was talking about. The Predators just are so strong in the early game. SR PSS has to transition into Inferno to fight them, which then allows Greenoh to win the first missile, which means he's saved up enough time. He can potentially go for a Sandstorm here. He can already make the Tech Lab now. He can go Barracks Tech Lab immediately. And then he's only sort of 100 Tiberium off of that first Sandstorm.
And he just got he did just protect his harvester there from SR PSS. That's really good for him because SR PSS really needs all the money he can get. As we see, he's only got one Inferno on the field. He's about to take down a single War Dog. We're not getting a lot of value so far, but actually Greenoh's really not doing a whole lot at the moment. He's built these missiles, of course, but he really does need something else to deal with it. He should have got to a Sandstorm a bit sooner, but nonetheless, he does have all 3 pads. He's about to take this missile. The Pitbull on that bottom pad will lose, though. The Inferno's going to be able to hold that top pad, or the middle pad, and the top pad held by the Liang drone, and Pitbull does get there. Will take care of the Inferno? No, it doesn't. So the SR PSS does take the second missile, which is great for him. And really from here, it's going to come down to Inferno versus Sandstorm. And I actually feel like SR PSS has likely got the edge.
I agree it's going to come down to Inferno versus Sandstorm, but I favor Greenoh in that matchup. I think the Sandstorms should end up winning.
Me a hard on.
Ooh,
I think they should,
that's a big deal, though. SR PSS getting that Harvester kill is huge, because now he has 2 Infernos to fight that first Sandstorm.
Yeah, more what I was talking about was the fact that he's been pressuring Greenoh back. So as we see, he's got 2 Infernos out. He did get that Harvester kill. So I think that's the only reason he's going to come out ahead in this matchup. But now the Sandstorm is out. He does get a shot from that Inferno. It shouldn't be quite enough. And Liang Drone's going to do a really good job of making sure that Sandstorm maintains its value. So actually, from this point forward, I think you're right. I think this is going to be real tough for SR PSS to win.
Yeah, Greenoh actually managed to kill the retreating Sandstorms, retreating Inferno, as well as the one that came into bomb, which was huge. Oh, but he does lose it there. That's a big deal. Is it going to be enough?
Inferno, and it should get these missile troopers.
I think he's going to take it. Oh, there goes the Liang drone.
Oh, it's so close. We got these wheels coming in. The bikes are going to lose to those missiles on the top pad. Scorpion Tank needs to block these missiles from getting onto the pad. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, though. Missiles will get there. It's going to flip the missile over to Greenoh. He's going to move the tank off, going to try and deal with those pitfalls, but it doesn't matter. Greenoh manages to steal this and take it back. That was really great.
Yeah, it was close at first there, but then Greenoh just completely took control of all of the pads and yeah, dominated that game in the end.
All right, up next, we're going to have Silas with Jade playing against SR PSS with Oksana Nod. So I wonder if, I think SR PSS is likely going to see, we're going to see a different deck from him. But Silas going back to that Jade deck, I expect to see the same list, running that 2-2-2 aggressive Nod deck using laser drones with Phantom. And then I think it's Wheels and Bikes, Lasers, and Chem Warriors, which has been a pretty good deck. Even though the recent nerfs have changed it quite a bit, it's still fairly good. However, here on Stonewall, I'm not so sure that it's a great choice because of that choke point in right by the base there.
Yeah, and SR PSS bringing exactly the same deck again. This is likely to come down to Phantom Wars, mostly. Infernos are going to dominate Silas's deck, aside from the air. So it's going to come down to whose Phantoms come out ahead.
Yeah, that is really the question, and I feel like SR PSS having Oksana on his side, he should be able to come out ahead. However, if he does boost a Phantom into another Phantom, I think that means the other Phantom will one-shot his. So that's something he's got to be really careful of, is making sure he does use those boosts to the right effect.
Yeah, SR PSS getting kind of dominated here. The laser drones are a really tough matchup for him, as is usually the case for Nod. Nod really struggles with those laser drones early game. Really needs to get his Phantom out as quickly as possible, but that's tough because it's such a heavy investment.
That's the thing. So if Silas does become aware of that, if he does realize laser drones are going to be very good against our SR PSS, not seeing any lasers come out, then I fully expect to see some laser drone spam, try to pressure the harvesters a little bit and shut down SR PSS's economy. But we may not see that come to pass. SR PSS is actually doing a pretty good job here of pressuring the harvesters. He's going to get a free harvester kill, getting that double boost on those bikes, make sure that he does get it. These Chem Warriors are just going to be able to hold pads a little bit, which is going to be fine. It should give Silas his first missile if he's careful. But now we see more laser drones coming out. They're going to be able to deal with these wheels along with the lasers to support, as Silas rebuilding that harvester as well. But SR PSS falling a little bit short here. Is he going to be able to take this first missile?
Yeah, it's not looking great for SR PSS here. He did get that harvester kill, and they have had a lot of stall, which is definitely favoring him because he wants to get to the late game. Wow, really nice play from SR PSS there. Does actually sneak onto all 3 pads right at the right time. It does take that first missile. Yep.
Those bikes still have their fastest movement speed. The recent nerf was only to their damage, so for mobility, they're still great at stealing pads at the last moment, and that is something SR PSS does a very good job. So that was really great for him. Now, of course, Silas is backed into a bit of a wall, even though he does have a deck that should reasonably counter what SR PSS is bringing. SR PSS hasn't even had to build Infernos. Look at how much money he's got. He's got 300 Tiberium, and he's not even spending it.
Yeah, you'd think these Chem Warriors would require Inferno response, but since the nerf to Chem Warrior vehicle damage, they actually don't do that well against Wheels anymore. They used to beat them 1v1 pretty easily. And now Wheels are a solid response to Chem Warriors.
Yeah, which is really interesting. The Wheels have been doing a great job of pushing them back. So now finally we see the Inferno come out for the first time. Silas is on the pads, but the Inferno gets a shot up on the Chem Warrior, clearing it. First Phantom from Silas comes out. It's going to have to go and hold a pad, though. And it looks like it's not going to be a missile here for Silas. I think SR PSS is going to take it. And he does. The Phantom does not get onto that pad. He had two Phantoms sitting there on that top pad doing almost nothing. So a bit of a misplay from Silas there.
Yeah, I think the double Phantom might have been a slight misplay, but yeah, just doesn't get onto those pads in time.
Nope. Up next, we got Copycat TV facing off against SR PSS. Of course, we are just moving through the last round robin matches to make sure we get into the. It's going to be a double elimination, I believe, or is this single
probably
elimination?
Single. Yeah, probably single elimination.
So we're getting through the last round robin matches, and let's have a look at SR PSS has been doing a pretty good job with that deck he's been playing so far. The basically the Fnatic Inferno deck is what I'm going to call it. And let's have a look and see if he's decided to bring the same thing. So, yep, exactly the same deck. Don't change what's broken or what isn't broken. And then we got Copycat using a completely different deck. He's actually using this is pretty interesting. He's got Laser Chems and Marauders with Stealth Tank, Laser Drone, and Venom. I actually don't really know what to make of this deck. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a really weird deck. This is like the old school beef wall deck where you get your beefy boys, which are the mutants and the chems together, and you just have them hang out. It's kind of like a mutant chuggy deck, but with chems instead of chuggy. Very weird to see Venom as well, along with those Chem Warriors. I guess he's planning to open the air like he's done here.
It does seem that way because that's all he's done so far. He has built his hand of knowledge, so we might see some infantry come out here pretty shortly. There they are. Mutant Marauders will come out and start dealing with the bikes and the wheels, so that's great. However, it does mean that SR PSS needs to get into his Fanatics here pretty soon if he's going to have a chance to hold these pads. But really, what SR PSS is doing here is pop-capping him to death. These Mutant Marauders are not getting on there. We see some dancing going on. He gets on there with a boost, and he's going to flip this missile. Oh, savage! That's what you get for dancing, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta love seeing that. The guy's pop caps and dances, and then manages to lose the missile to the one-man laser drone squads. I mean, it's karmic justice, man. It's karmic justice.
Yeah, in a way, you almost love to see it, but
I absolutely love to see it. Yeah.
Because look at this, we've got 3 single laser drones sitting on the field, so Copycat can't build anything. Look at his pop cap. He's just about to get there, but he's going to lose a harvester in the process. It looks like, and yeah, but however, Copycat did a really great job of controlling the pads.
And both players lose a harvester there, so both players got a little bit of cash here. Copycat's finally managed to lose those laser drone squads, so he's not as pop capped as he was. And wow, triple Fnatic spam from SR PSS here. I'm interested to see how this goes.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to work out too well. Those Chem Warriors boosted are just melting them, and the Fanatics can't really do a whole lot. An okay job of clearing the Mutant Marauders, but they need to deal with these Chem Warriors as well. So now we got Copycat making a push on the far left, and there it is. Copycat taking a second missile, taking down the venerable SR PSS.
Yeah, well played, Copycat.
Well
I think his deck was actually designed to face off against what SR PSS has been bringing, because he's just played the same deck every game, and I think that's why he played a laser drone opening and stealth tank to deal with Infernos, and also Chem Warriors for the Fanatics. So I think that was a pretty targeted deck from Copycat.
Okay, so another Liang mirror. Not going to be the last one of this tournament, but the decks could be very different. However, I have a suspicion that they're going to be pretty close. Let's take a look.
Loading.
Yeah, good old EU servers taking a little longer than usual.
I think this is NA.
Is it NA? Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, that might be
and we do have a very similar decks. Both Borka. Well, not that similar, I guess. Both Borka, both Pitbull, both missiles, but otherwise we've got 3 units different. So pretty different decks actually.
Mm-hmm.
All right, SR PSS going blind double half.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I think Victor comes out ahead in this matchup just because of Hammerhead and Sniper.
First. Yeah, I like the Hammerheads a lot in this matchup. A little bit surprised to see Victor go Pitbull first here. Very odd choice.
Yeah. I don't think he saw the 2 harves, so
No.
I'm with you on that. I'm a little surprised to see that myself, but it's working out. He is pressuring SRPS a little bit. He's forcing them into these missiles, which means that Victor's going to tech switch into snipers. So far, he is going to take care of these war dogs pretty comfortably. He's not able to. Victor's not able to get to the harvesters just yet, but that's perfectly fine. This has been working out okay for him.
Building online.
SR PSS desperately trying to keep that one dog alive to popcap Victor. Victor's trying to make it a nuisance. And here comes SR PSS's first missile Borka, the patented SR PSS play.
Oh, look at that, though. He loses the load a little bit too early on that single dog. Great placement on there by Victor, but now he's got all 3 pads. Orca Bomber can't do much, but really great pad control here. We got Liangdro coming on the bottom left. Also, Victor's clearing on the top pad, but the Orca Bomber is almost reloaded. There it is. The Talon does clear the Pitbull along with the drops from the Orca Bomber, so we're going to see another stall. Pitbull's going to move over to the far right, stalling the missile once again. These jump jets should clear the Pitbull. However, this Talon is going to be a bit of a liability and should flip the missile over to Victor, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see. His Pitbull's moving up to the top pad means that Victor will take all 3 pads here. No, actually, he lost his Pitbull on the far right. So this missile is going to stall a little bit more. These jump jets are going to be a good tool. The snipers shouldn't be able to clear them in time. And I think this is going to be a missile here, and there. Oh my god, wait a minute, are we going to see the flip? This is the question. So Liangdro coming up on that top pad. This is going back and forth like crazy. So now I think SR PSS has got it, and there it is, finally.
Wow, crazy missile. Many Liang flips on both sides as well. That was nuts.
That's the kind of stuff you expect to see with this high-level gameplay, especially when both players are running Liang drone. They both use them at the same time, so the cooldown came off at the same time, meaning that you're just going to continue to see stalled missiles as a result. But yeah, it was a pretty good missile, I got to say.
Now here comes the Borka spam from SR PSS, trying to clean up the field. He has so much money now, he can just afford to keep making them. And Victor responds with his Hammerhead, makes a lot of sense. Hammerhead should make short work of these things. We also see Victor using dogs to trigger the Borkas from SR PSS. Try and make them a little bit less threatening. But yeah, we're going to see... it's going to be difficult. SR PSS is going to lose all 3 of his Borkas to his Hammerhead. But it's unclear that he cares that much. He has so much money off of this double Harvester and the Harvester kill. It's not clear that he needs those Borkas. He can just make fresh ones.
Not only that, but the other thing is that he can use Liang to heal up those Orca Bombers if he needs, but yeah, like you said, he's got tons of money in the bank, so it's not really a big issue for him. He's got almost 300 Tiberium, so I fully expect to see that we're going to see a big Orca spam right towards the end of this missile. But, so far that's really not the case. We've got Victor doing a great job holding these pads using that single Harvester to maintain value out of his units. He's got that Liang drone coming down with the double Pitbull should clear the Orca Bomber, another Pitbull coming to secure things up, but the Hammerhead goes down on that top pad, so now we're going to see another stalled missile. This Talon's going to be able to hold the pad on the far left. Pitbull should get there, but he's going to block this top pad, and that should give him the missile, and there it is. All right, SR PSS making a comeback, winning a game against Victor. Very well done.
And there it is. There's the SR PSS we're used to seeing.
Okay, in our first best of 3, we've got Copycat facing off against SR PSS. SR PSS doing a pretty good job so far, but he switched over to Liang, which is what he was just using in the last match. And then Copycat, he's gone into Oxen and Odd, so... I wonder what Copycat brought. He brought a very smart counter to what SR PSS was bringing, but SR PSS changed into his deck, so Copycat might have picked something a little bit more safe as a result. Let's have a look.
Yeah, we are on the hot zone here as well, which is a very good Orca Bomber map, so would expect to see those Orca Bombers, and we do. And Copycat has switched the Stealth Tank into a Phantom, which is... I don't know how I feel about that. Phantom is good against the Orca Bombers, but so is Stealth Tank, so I don't know that Phantom is better. Like, Phantom doesn't one-shot them, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? So for the first missile, SR PSS can build an Orca Bomber, and then if Copycat even responds with the Phantom, it may not even be timely enough to take care of it, because, yeah, it doesn't one-shot it, and Phantom has a slow enough reload that it could steal the missile in time. But I gotta say, I really like this early aggression from SR PSS using the jump jets to try and take it on the Harvester. The boosted Venom should clear them, and it looks like it will, so he's not going to get a Harvester kill just yet, but he hasn't over-invested into that, so not quite a big loss. But then we see these laser drones coming out from Copycat. He's only got his helipad out at the moment, so it looks like SRPS is going to have a comfortable time taking this first missile, as his Chem Warriors won't make it in time, and there it is. Yep, SRPS is taking the first missile, but Copycat is running 2 Harvesters. So I'm not too sure what his game plan is from here. I'm not sure what he needs the extra money for. I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, I like the most important thing we saw there was SR PSS really just held that missile charging the entire time. Even though he was pressuring the Harvester a little, he mostly was just holding the missile charge. And he did get that first missile pretty quickly and easily. I think potentially Copycat expected SR PSS to go double Harvester Borka and wanted to have double Harvester Phantom spam to counter it, but SR PSS has only gone single Harvester here, so that hasn't actually worked out well. I assume that's what Copycat's doing, and it hasn't worked out that well.
No, and it's hurting him a lot more than it's had less cap, which is exactly why he lost that first missile. He just could not respond to what SR PSS has brought. And now Copycat does have both of these pads. He's holding quite steadily with the Chem Warriors on the top. Talon doesn't do a lot of damage, only doing 109 DPS compared to, say, like Drone Storm, which does 140. But this missile's about to fire. This Orca Bomber coming out will clear. Actually, no, he gets a shot off on those Mutant Marauders instead, so I'm not too sure what that's about. But this Phantom coming out will be able to hold against the Orca Bomber. However, he's not on this top pad. He could move that Orca Bomber to the top hex and block the laser drones, but doesn't. But however, it doesn't really matter. Talon should clear them, and I think this is going to be SR PSS missile. Should be. Phantom will not be able to clear those Orca Bombers very quickly, even though it is boosted and it's reloading very quickly. But the Talon's going to come out, and it's going to be able to deal with this Mutant Marauder. And so far, it's looking like Copycat's making a fight here, but I don't think he's going to quite get there. Those laser drones really shouldn't be able to get onto that top pad, and it doesn't matter. The laser drones is cleared on the bottom, and SR PSS is going to take this very comfortably. There it is.
Yeah, those Talons absolutely critical to that victory there. As Copycat's deck is all air and infantry, Talon is effective against everything in his deck, and no matter what he threw at the pads, the Talons were able to take care of it. So yeah, Talon absolutely critical in that game.
Okay, so our next match going to be Copycat versus SR PSS. Copycat switching over to Solomon. First time we're seeing that from him. SR PSS is going to play Liang once again. I expect to see probably the same deck, maybe with 1 unit difference, but we're working out for him, so I don't think he's going to change.
Yeah, I suspect to see the same deck from SR PSS. He's way more comfortable with this deck. He obviously was experimenting a little bit with that Alicia Inferno deck, but that wasn't working out very well for him. And Copycat has completely changed deck here, basically mirroring SR PSS. But he's gone for the Orca instead of the Orca Bomber. Right. And obviously Solomon.
So, I think SR PSS still comes out ahead in this matchup. I don't think Ion Cannon's a very good counter to Orca Bomber in general. Because it's not really that difficult for the Orca Bomber to get out of the way, I think. So I really don't see how Copycat wins this reliably. He's going to have to, concentrate his Pitbulls and Talons together to make sure that he clears out those Orca Bombers. But I feel like having at least Hammerhead would have been a better choice in general. So, yeah, again, I don't really see how Copycat wins this.
I think Copycat's looking for a Solomon base cheese win.
Oh, that could be true.
I think it's a cheap deck, and he wants to be able to cheese that win.
Well, let's see if that's the case. We got Liang Drone on that top left with 2 Pitbulls on the bottom and right for SR PSS, so he's going to hold the pads okay. Copycat does switch the jump jets over. Will it be there in time? Yes, so Talon should clear this Liang Drone. It will clear this Rifleman as well. And actually, I think this is going to be Copycat's missile. He's got all 3 pads now. Pitbull will get there, but actually, he's going to get there in time. And this is really great response from SR PSS. Pitbull should clear it, but jump jets will clear that Pitbull as well. Should stall the missile once again. And now it's going to be a question of who builds the right counter. We got another Talon coming out. He's going to move the units around from the right to the left pad, so that's great. But of course, Copycat also has fast options, so he's got these jump jets coming over the far right. Talon will clear it eventually. This build is going to clear the Talon, but I expect that this is going to be a very long missile.
Yeah, and we've seen the crux on this missile has actually been this bottom pad, where one Pitbull has been fighting one Rifleman for a very long time, and eventually the Pitbull came out on top, and that's what won SR PSS this missile. Both players were able to continuously hold these top 2 pads against each other, but eventually SR PSS won that Pitbull versus Rifleman matchup. And that's actually what ended up winning him that missile, which is kind of insane. And that's a big deal, because if he loses that missile, Copycat probably cheeses his base.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I do believe that is likely the most effective way to use Copycat's deck, is to just simply concentrate on going after the base. But SRPS did a really good job there. I think, like you said, the just pad control, holding that bottom pad for ages, is really what won him that missile. So that was great for him.
So now we see Copycat in a bit of a mad scramble to get this second missile. I don't think we're going to be able to see that Solomon base cheese anymore. Really, this game has been coming down heavily to these Pitbulls. Whoever has the more value out of the Pitbulls has been generally taking the lead.
That's exactly it. Yeah, so far SRPS is coming out a bit ahead. We look at the Tiberium difference between these two players. We got 150 versus 110, so this is great, but we got a missile about to fire. Copycat's going to try and secure this bottom pad. Orca will clear the Pitbull, but there's a Talon there to greet it, so it's not looking too good. And Ion Cannon comes down, but it's a little bit too little too late. And as a tempo play didn't work out, SRPSS wins that second missile, taking the game.
And the match. So we've got Greenoh playing Oksana, SR PSS with Liang. What do you think the odds are that SR PSS plays exactly the same deck again?
90%.
You should have gone with 100%, but yeah. There
And
it is.
Greenoh is also playing the exact same deck again.
Yeah, Greenoh has been playing. Well, he's swapped slightly. He did Seth and Banshee once, I think.
Yeah,
on
he
Orbit.
did Banshee
So,
against me the time
yeah.
he beat me. So
but he is playing Fnatic aggro every game, and SR PSS with that same Borka deck again. I feel like GDI is superior with the Razorback and the Shade banned, because I think that since the bike nerf, Nod decks just aren't as powerful early game, and most GDI air units are still really good. So you have to kind of play Scorpion to beat the Pitbulls, but then most GDI decks are only playing Pitbull as their vehicle, which makes it really awkward to have the Scorpion tank just to counter it.
Yeah, and it used to be you can't really force someone into vehicles to use the tank. Like,
yeah,
they can just make missiles like he's doing.
Or air. Yeah, you can just play air units. You're never forced into making those vehicles anymore. But yeah, I completely agree. And that's why that Scorpion is not as good as it used to be. But really strong play from Greenoh coming out here. He's looking strong on this first missile. This Fnatic should easily take this top pad, and the bike will take the bottom. But here comes that first Orca Bomber, the classic first missile Orca Bomber from SR PSS. Does take out that whole bottom pad and gets this gets the incoming bikes, and yet there you go. That's why Orca Bomber is so strong. That's what makes it so that's what makes it so insane.
It killed, I think, 2 sets of bikes that were the reinforcement bikes.
Yep.
So, oh man.
That's what makes it so great, is the duration that it gives that area control for. And again, there you see it protects those jump jets long enough to take the Harvester kill, just because it's impossible to make any units to go and reinforce the area the Orca Bomber is bombing. Even though there's a Phantom nearby, he still had to take a long time to clear that Orca Bomber. And that is the strength of Orca Bomber.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Also, these Talons have been absolute MVPs. Almost every game the Talons have been absolutely critical. As you can see, a Phantom really struggles with Talons. You kind of, it takes so long to reload. I mean, it's not a long time, but you take like 1 hit each time you go in to kill a Talon, and then your Phantom costs so much that you need to kill at least 3 Talons just to make your money back.
Yeah, and he just took a stray missile there, so...
Yeah. Down goes that Phantom.
I think he got 3, but that's still -10.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? I think he also got that Orca Bomber though, so it was a good Tiberium trade, but the timing was not great because he did it all during the charge of the second missile. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, all of those exchanges aren't really relevant.
SR PSS is doing the classic bait and switch here. He's got the Tiberium. And that's one thing that I definitely think he's probably the best at. His timing of Orca Bomber is just insane.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he could make one right now. He could make 2 right now, but he's biding his time to just take over the game and win it with the Orca Bombers.
And like you say, he's forcing Greenoh. He's making these pitfalls to force Greenoh into a tank. And then when Greenoh goes for the tank, that's when the Orca Bomb comes out. But this Orca Bomber was not good. The Phantom managed to block it.
We jinxed him. Caster Curse.
Yeah. Yeah, the Phantom manages to block that Orca Bomber getting to the Scorpion. The Scorpion still does a lot of work. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though.
Oh, the
These Orca Bombers,
the Pitbull.
They live for so long. I think Greenoh made a small misplay there. He had a really nice block on that Borka, but then he let the EMP'd Borka still bomb his Scorpion tank. So even though he blocked it, he actually ended up losing the Scorpion, or like half losing the Scorpion anyway. That really cost him, because if that Scorpion had been full hit points, he could have taken out those Pitbulls. Okay, here we go with the second game, Greenoh versus SR PSS. SR PSS is 1-0 up. If he wins this one, he will proceed to the finals against Victor. And Greenoh looking to even it up. And Greenoh is playing the Agent Shadow Orca Bomber deck. And SR PSS is a slight variation. He's gone for a Mohawk this time instead of the Jump Jets, which I think is probably based on the map.
Yeah, there's the lake and the rock interference.
I mean, Jump Jets also have the mobility, right? But so I don't know why he decides Mohawk is better here. I don't know what makes that decision. Potentially, if he thinks his opponent is more likely to be playing air, he doesn't want to play the Jump Jets. I don't know. I don't know what his thinking is.
What do you think about snipers on this map? It seems like there's a lot of lanes that they're easily defended.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get to snipers, but it's also snipers have to be mobile here to get to defend both pads. So I think they're okay, but they're not like, it's not one of the better sniper maps. It's just like a fine map.
Oh, the Mohawk instead of the Talon. I expected the Talon there, but oh, the double Liang drone.
Yep, double Liang. So the
I was like, oh, the
Mohawk does
Liang's
win.
gonna get it. No, another Liang.
The Mohawk does win top against that Pitbull, but can't interact with that Liang drone. Pitbull bottom is going to beat both this Talon and the Liang drone, and another Pitbull top takes out that Mohawk, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty easy missile for Greenoh. Greenoh does take that missile, not overly surprising. SR PSS went double harvester. He is reduced on that pop cap. And this Mohawk, this might be why he went Mohawk instead of jump jet, so he could park a Mohawk in this pad. Sorry, this rock above the harvester. And here comes the first Orca Bomber from SR PSS. This is going to obviously be his win condition throughout the game. It's going to be Orca Bombers. The Greenoh does have access to Hammerhead this time. So that could change things dramatically.
Oh, he got it too. I think
Does
that
get
this
the
is
half.
going to come down to the economy here.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
The double harv is a huge advantage.
Yeah, like these Hammerheads are expensive for Greenoh. He cannot afford to be making a lot of them. Whereas the Orca Bombers are reasonably cheap for SR PSS. Like he has quite a lot of money, so he doesn't mind so much. So yeah, Greenoh needs to preserve this Hammerhead and use it to take out multiple Orca Bombers if he's going to win this game.
He's giving up the harvester kills, even making it, float now is not looking pretty.
Oh god, sorry. So I actually think that because Greenoh is on 1 half and SR PSS is on 2, SR PSS doesn't need this bounty money. It's kind of irrelevant for him, but Greenoh needs to be harvesting. So I think Greenoh should never be pulling harvester. I think he should just let it die and rebuild, because it's more important for him to be constantly mining than it is for SR PSS to be getting bounties.
He has done well with his hammerhead here, but
Yeah, Hammerhead's got a lot of value out of it. Ooh, loses all those missiles though. And his own Orca Bomber from Greenoh here. This should take care of this Pitbull and get some damage on these harvesters. Doesn't? Oh, it does kill the Pitbull just about. But here come the Talon. Talon, big deal for SR PSS here. Greenoh's going to need to respond top with that Hammerhead. Oh, he loses it. Needs a fresh Hammerhead. He's going for double Pitbull instead. I think this might be a misplay. I think maybe he needs a Hammerhead here.
Oh, harvester pull. Oh, he didn't get. He went off the pad.
Oh, that's going to cost him. And yeah, Greenoh does lose because he pulls off that pad. And that means that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that he lost the first missile. So he does lose that missile due to that miss micro on that Pitbull. I think he could have had that missile there and taken the game.
He's still at quite a big deficit in Tib, but
yeah,
now
huge,
it's not as
huge Tiberium deficit. But yeah, like you say, as long as he can afford to make his units, it doesn't matter. If SR PSS has like a 500 float, it's the same as having a 100 float. He can still just make infinite units right now. So yeah, it's really going to come down to whether or not Greenoh can make his own units. SR PSS, of course, does not have to rebuild Harvester though, so he doesn't have that pop cap limitation anymore because he has so much money.
Harvester ready. Unit ready.
I actually think neither of them need a harvester at this point.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It might be correct for both players to simply not be rebuilding Harvesters. And SR PSS goes double Orca Bomber with his mad Tiberium income. He's going to easily take care of this Harvester. This Hammerhead from Greenoh is absolutely critical. He needs something to go top, though. He needs anything to go top. Liang drone isn't going to do it. Too late on the Liang drone. Maybe he could have bought himself a couple of seconds.
Time there. If he had built right when he could have gotten an Orca Bomber.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that's what he was saving for, was an Orca Bomber, but then he went for the Liang drone. And I think if he'd made the Orca Bomber, he could have maybe taken it. Alright, here we are with the first game of the Grand Finals, SR PSS versus Victor. We are seeing a Liang mirror, which is not surprising. I imagine this is going to be a Borka mirror as well, and yep, both players with the Borka.
Titan, question mark?
Yeah, so here we have Titan, which is a very interesting tech choice from SR PSS. Not sure why we're seeing a Titan, but I guess we'll
kill the war. It doesn't seem like it's a needed unit.
Yeah, like, it'll kill War Factory, but it'll die to the Orca Bombers, and you've got to be imagining it's going to be a Bomber mirror. Yeah, I'm not sure about this Titan choice. And Victor's going with snipers as well, which I think is a little unusual.
I'm a little confused of what the strategy is here.
Yeah. So it looks like, oh, SR PSS is going Talon instead of going straight for that Borka. Normally you see SR PSS try and get a first missile Borka. I don't know if these Talons are going to cut it. They're going to be good against these snipers, but I don't think they're going to do it and be quick enough. And no, nice Liang block from Victor to block SR PSS's Liang.
Of course.
Alright, so Victor does manage to take that first missile thanks to the Liang interactions. And here comes a sling. This is going to make short work of these Talons. But it's not going to be that good against Orca Bomber. And SR PSS goes for a second harvester here. Maybe looking to get that Titan out. Maybe just wants to spam Orca Bombers. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And he's trying to pop cap again.
He might think that it's a fruitless to send Borkas into slings. So
yeah.
he might. The Titan would be good, but making the second harvester last that late, he's got to amateurize and pay for it, you know, and
yeah,
it takes a while. It takes a while to make your that 60 tib back alone, much less another, you know, 200 or something for the Titan.
Yep. And interestingly, Victor goes second slingshot, probably assuming that, yeah, he sees that SR PSS is going to be Borkering. Gets that second slingshot ready. Wow, still loses the first one to an Orca Bomber, even with the blocks. And loses the second. Wow, that's kind of insane. That was insane. Double slingshot with Liang drone to block, and he still loses them both to the Orca Bombers.
Was there some Liang time for the Borka to heal it as it was coming in, maybe?
I'm not sure. I think I saw Victor miss micro one of the slings. I think it started moving. He didn't have double sling firing, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It was like, oh, that was kind of crazy how the Borkas just took care of the slings so easily.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a sling micro issue there. It was nuts.
Yeah, I think there might have been. Oh, and here comes a fresh double Borka. This is going to clean up absolutely everything. Victor going for that block again, but these Borkas are they're just ignoring these slingshots. Still managed to take out one of the slings. Does lose a Borka though, and SR PSS is low on cash. He's not in a position where he can afford to lose these Borkas over and over.
This is why you run an air-to-air unit.
Yeah.
With
wow.
Orca Bomber deck.
Even with the double missile support, that sling still goes down to the Borka. And Victor's trying his best, but these Borkas are just cleaning up these slings. It's just not an issue for them at all.
Yeah, it's really you see that slingshot is such an awkward unit.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example. He played the game perfectly, and he lost because the unit doesn't work. Nearly perfectly.
I think he mismicroed his sling. I think he would have won the second missile if he hadn't mismicroed the slingshot.
But he had like 2 slings out again and lost them.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that Orca Bomber is a disgusting unit, really.
Yeah, that's true. It really is.
All right, here we go. Game 2, SR PSS versus Victor. SR PSS is 1-0 up. And we are again seeing a Liang mirror on blind spot this time. Wouldn't be surprised to see Orca Bombers. Yeah, okay, Orca Bomber from SR PSS, but Victor's gone for Zone Troopers. I don't really understand this choice. I think that Sandstorm is just significantly better against Borka than Zone Trooper is. I'd prefer just to see a Sandstorm if you're going to go for a Tech Splash, but I mean, Zone Trooper is probably the second best thing you can play against Orca Bomber, so definitely interested to see how this goes.
A Sandstorm will kill an Orca Bomber in one volley, or is it slightly more?
I think it's one volley, yeah. So it'll kill it before the bomber drops like more than a couple of bombs. Whereas Zone Troopers won't. They need like 4 shots or 3 shots to kill an Orca Bomber, so they will take like a few bombs. They'll still kill it, but they'll be pretty low after they take it down.
He is winning this early game very well, though. I guess that's the militant dog advantage.
And SR PSS is obviously saving for an early Orca Bomber, as he likes to do. This early Orca Bomber doesn't quite take out these missiles, but is going to be able to head top. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. Doesn't get the block. Doesn't... and here comes Liang drone again. Classic Liang drone. And I think this is going to be it for... SR PSS should take this missile easily from here. Borka will take out the top. He takes the bottom because of the damaged missiles. Liang drone holds the top right. And yeah, SR PSS does take first missile.
That was really close, but Liang.
Yeah, exactly that. SR PSS trying to bomb down this harvester, but Liang drone obviously doing a lot of work healing it up. He is going to lose this Orca Bomber.
think Victor's getting pretty close to zones. Yep,
Yeah,
there's
there they
the
are.
first zone.
First zone trooper. And this is going to be a big deal. This should take care of all these Mohawks pretty easily. I don't know if he's going to be able to prevent the harvester going down. We'll have to wait and see. These zones really need to stop and actually start shooting something.
Yeah, they went on a little mosey around that pad.
Yeah. They do take out all those air units fairly comfortably. Now the question is, can SR PSS deal with these zones, and can Victor use them efficiently enough to win this missile? If he wins this missile, I think he's in pretty good shape. Here comes a Borka. Defensive zones, yeah, they do kill it on the third shot. As you can see, they don't quite die. But Victor needs to get on these pads just in time. Oh, but he's not blocking. Oh, the zones take out the rifle's top. Here comes the Liang steal, followed by another Liang steal, but this time on a zone trooper pad, so the zone's clear easily. And Victor does take that pad and that missile. This is huge for Victor because now he has the option to get more zones out, and you saw how impactful that first set of zones were.
I was worried that he would get pop capped here because he had 2 sets of dogs out, but the Mohawk ended up killing him.
Yeah, and SR PSS actually has a couple of low rifleman squads he's going to need to deal with. Here comes the Borka. It's not getting much done though. These zones are doing a good job keeping SR PSS's units off the field.
This would be a case where it'd be really good if he could get a bait.
Yeah. Here comes the double Borka. Double Borka should take out these zones. Yeah, it does easily take out those zones. Doesn't even lose a Borka doing it. Victor responds with double Pitbull. Both these Borkas are reloading and low, so these Pitbulls should be able to clean up. Zones are going to take care of the other air. Another double Borka situation. Is this Borka going to kill these zones? It looks like it is. It does take them down. Fresh zones top. Is he going to get on this pad in time? He does not, and Victor takes it. Well played by Victor. Nice little use of those zone troopers.
Wow, not a Liang.
Interested to see the SR PSS not bring Liang. I think this might mean he's playing a different deck. Yeah, he's playing Mammoth. That's why he's not playing Liang. Makes sense. Alright, so we're going to see Air Mammoth against Zone Trooper Borka deck. This is clearly a great counter pick by SR PSS, who after losing to the zones doesn't want to lose them again. So he's playing Mammoth Tank, which just hard counters them. So Mammoth Tank hard counters the zones. It's going to come down to whether or not these Borkas can kill these Mammoth Tanks. Victor should get first missile pretty easily against Double Harvester. And then it's just going to come down to, do the Borkas beat the Mammoth Tanks or not? Alright, so SR PSS opens drones.
That's exactly what is going to happen here. I think that making the missiles for the this harvester pressure has almost no effect on the game. I'm not sure if it's worth it.
I like it because if your opponent usually who is low on pop cap spends a pop cap defending it, and then there's no way they can contest the missile, so it just guarantees that you fire that missile really quickly. I often do it with a Pitbull instead of missiles though, because missiles are so easy to deal with.
The Liang drone block was really good.
Yeah. Victor with the sick micros. Might take out this harvester here. I think he's going to get it just about. Obviously, this harvester kill is not that important. It slows down SR PSS's economy a little bit, but mostly the main thing it does is allows Victor to make Borkas when the Mammoth comes out. He also has these zones, so the bounty is not bad for him. I think SR PSS is overproducing these Mohawks a little. I think he should just be going Mammoth now.
Yeah, he needs. He was close to Mammoth there when he made the last Mohawk.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And like, this needs to come out. The Mammoth needs to come out now if it's going to have an impact. I think it's going to be too late. I think Victor's just going to take this one for free. Yeah, SR PSS realizes it's going to be too late and goes for other units, but I don't think they're going to get there in time. Yeah, yep. Very, very clean victory for Victor there.
Yeah, I've been playing a little Mammoth there recently, and it's a tough choice if you decide you haven't stalled enough to get the Mammoth, or
yep.
Try to win the second missile, stealing it with your air. It's really hard to make that decision, live during the game.
Yeah, you need a lot of experience with the deck and with like how long it takes your Mammoth to get to the pads and so on. All right, game 4, Victor versus SR PSS. This is match point for Victor. If he wins this one, he does win the whole thing. And we're on 2 fuses. So SR PSS has switched. He's got a Tic Tank Chuggy deck. And Victor's sticking with the same deck that he's won 2 matches with.
Online.
So fair enough to him. I don't know whose deck I favor here. I think I like the Borka deck more, just because it has Borkas.
Unit ready.
I don't think he has anything that can kill zones. Chuggy's
Chuggy can do it if you support the Chuggy properly.
Unit ready.
Like if you get the zones to fire on something else and then send in the Chuggy, it can do a pretty good job. But yeah, the zones are definitely tough. I think the Borkas are like a real nightmare as well though, so yeah, I think I like Victor's deck more. I think you're right.
If he could get a Tick Tank out, I think a Tick Tank will live through one Orca Bomber.
Oh yeah, yeah, Burrow Tick will survive an Orca Bomber fairly easily. Oh, look at that! The iridescent Chuggy. I believe SR PSS is the only player in the game who has this skin.
Oh wow.
Which was a reward from the Bike Rush tournament where some skins were given out as prizes. So yeah, I believe SR PSS is the only player in the game with this skin. So very exciting to see that.
You're gonna have to clickbait your YouTube video with
Yeah.
this.
And there it goes, unfortunately. We do see another one though, thank God. Wouldn't wanna not. Oh wow, really nice clean up there with the boosted Chuggy. That's gonna take care of both and gonna get a nice flip. Really well played from SR PSS there. Using that
that
iridescent
was,
Chuggy.
Damage received.
What everyone hated about Chuggy so much for a while.
Yep, that's exactly it. I mean, it's just like people have forgotten because Razorback exists now, but Chuggy is basically a Razorback that doesn't fly.
Ready.
Yep.
Obviously that makes it a lot worse because flying is super strong, but yeah, it's still a very strong unit. So SRPSS goes for a Phantom here to fight off this Borka. I think that was maybe a mistake. I think he needs to deal with the Pitbull first. Even by just triggering the Borka and letting the Borka kill the Pitbull would have been an okay plan.
Yeah, he got a little lucky. The Borka killed most of the Pitbull with splash damage.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would have made more sense to make a ground unit to set that up first and then go for the Phantom. But the Borka does take out the Pitbull for him. And now he's basically just needs to deal with a bunch of Pitbulls and he'll be in good shape.
Unit lost.
Oh, God. So snipers come out to deal with these lasers. SRPSS forced to use bikes to fight these Pitbulls. Victor does get a Harvester kill there, which is a huge deal because the 80 Tiberium is actually allows him to potentially go Zone Troopers here. If Victor wanted to, he could make Zone Troopers. It looks like he's going to go Orca Bomber instead.
Yeah, he didn't want to commit to second missile zones.
Yeah. He did micro that Orca Bomber to Duke from dropping its bombs too early, but it actually ends up getting triggers and doing no damage. Phantom comes out to deal with it, but can SRPSS get on the pads in time? Not looking good for him. These Pitbulls are kind of dominating the game right now. Doesn't look like SRPSS can hold it.
I think he's going to throw away this Phantom, and he probably should have just thrown away the missile.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It's unclear whether he can come back on this one. Maybe with this Tic Tank, but these bikes are just not doing a good job against the Pitbulls. And losing this Phantom is quite a big cost. It's a second Phantom. It looks like he's committing fully to this plan now. He really should be making something else if he wants to get on these pads, though. The Phantom just about gets there in time. Looks like maybe SRPSS is going to prove us wrong and take this missile. Gonna be close, and he does. All right, so well played, SRPSS. He recognized that he was able to take that back. All right, so that brings us to 2-2. We are going to have a final game. All right, here it is, the grand final. It's 2-2, this game for all the marbles, and we're on Middle Oasis, picked by Betterway. But yeah, pretty excited for this final game. Two very talented players. All comes down to this. We've got SRPSS back on the Orca Bombers, and Victor going with, I don't even know what this is. I've never seen a deck like this before.
They don't believe that they both went with the faithful Blind Harv opening.
Yeah, both went Blind Harv on Middle Oasis, and even no player punishes.
Yeah, but I guess that's the bet that no one's gonna rush in the final game of a series. They're gonna play it safer. But...
On Middle Oasis, I think neither player's deck. Like, I mean, DDI can't really rush effectively on this map. It's really difficult to do. Nod could do if they opened like Wheel Scout and saw the Harvester. They could maybe bike rush, but yeah. Rushing just isn't very good in Rivals. Like, it's been nerfed a bunch, so it's just not a very good strategy. So people generally don't do it at the high levels.
I think if Victor had gone into tanks instead of a second Pitbull here, he'd be much better off. I
you
like
mean
his
second
idea.
bikes?
He's trying to avoid infantry because, did I say pitbull?
Yeah.
He went into 2 bikes, and you
Yeah.
can't fight pitbulls with bikes.
Yep, I agree. And these pitbulls take out the harvester because he's pushed off the map. But this one tank is going to take care of most of these pitbulls. But yeah, a tank earlier would have been a lot more powerful. Or even lasers. Like, I don't think bikes just aren't good against pitbull now. That's just the way it is.
I think he's trying to avoid infantry because you get into the Tiberium in the middle, and
Yeah, maybe.
you know,
As you can see, pitbulls are pretty dominant in a ground war at the moment against Nod. Like, you need scorpions or lasers. You can't really fight them with bikes anymore. And I think a lot of people don't know that because they're playing, because the metagame is so different on ladder and events without the banned units. People still don't really understand how the bike pitbull matchup works since the nerf. And here comes that first Porker.
it's not
Ooh.
really a critical matchup in ladder meta.
Yeah, exactly. That last missile, last bomb does take out that, basically takes out that entire bike squadron. And this is pretty dominant performance from SR PSS here. These
This is
Borkers are
kinda
causing a lot of
typical
problems.
Middle Oasis, no one gets on the pads. You just sit there and kill harvesters. And
Yeah. Yeah, we're 2 minutes in and we're about to have first missile. These Borkers, man, they're absolutely dominant. And Victor, because Victor's been pressured so hard in his economy, he can't afford a Banshee, which is really his only clean answer to an Orca Bomber.
I think
Looks
that,
like, yeah, that's going to be missile for
probably a
SR PSS.
misclick. I don't know why he made a chuggy. There's no infantry out at all.
Yeah, and he loses it, which is even worse. Yeah, here comes the
Victor did say
air
he's playing
spam.
on phone. It might be that he's not used to, you know, he doesn't play on phone as much because, you know, usually he's streaming playing on emulator, but
This is not looking good for Victor. He's pretty much completely locked out of the game at this point. Here comes the Banshee finally. He needed this a long time ago, though. I think it's too late now. SRPSS has infinite money. He can easily respond to this Banshee. He's going to take the Banshee, like, most of the missile just to clean up the air units that are already on the field. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look how long it takes him just to kill even one Mohawk. Banshee is not a good unit in this metagame. Absolutely brutal.
I was brave to take Nod.
Yeah. Well, no, I think Nod was fine. I don't think he can't use bikes to fight pitbulls was the issue.
Yeah.
Pretty dominant performance there from SR PSS.
This is another map where it's almost like playing tech. You get pushed off the map, it looks embarrassing, but it's a small little decisions in the early game can result in a complete snowball.
Yep, and there it is, guys. SR PSS 3-2 beats Victor in the finals, does take down yet another Coliseum. Congratulations to SR PSS, the perennial Coliseum victor. Despite a fairly poor performance in the round robin, comes back and manages to sweep the knockout rounds.